parts that we're going to need for step 6: a 1.2 by 4 millimeter black screw, a 1.2 by 6 millimeter black screw, part D9, part D10, part C20, and another 1.2 by 4 millimeter black screw. The paint used in this step is Tamiya LP70. Hey everyone, welcome back to the bench. We are starting on step number 6, and we have to gather some parts. We have to gather parts again from the sprue bag. So we'll grab these 2 screws here, and then we're going to need parts D9, D10, which we'll be painting them LP70, and then we will be using what we built before and attaching it to those 2 arms, which then will get mounted to the actual engine that we've already built as well. So we'll also be needing C20 and another screw there. So a pretty simple step. It involves 3 screws and 3 parts, and then we move on to step 7. So this should be a pretty easy wrap up. They're all painted the exact same color. So I'm going to go grab the parts, clean them up, and we'll paint them up. See you in a minute. All right, we have our 3 parts trimmed, cleaned up, and ready for paint. So we are going to be painting them LP70, which is a gloss aluminum, and we also have to grab the screws that we're going to be needing. So I took the screw bags and I emptied them into some of my bottle caps. And Tamiya gives you a screw guide. So when it calls for a screw, it gives you an actual size screw over here along with the description. So that way, if you're unsure of what they are, you know that both of these screws are black. So you can grab, what you can kind of guesstimate and say, well, that's a black screw, so let's see if that's about the same. Nope, that's too short, but that one. So you need that one, and you need a longer one. So you can come in here and find a longer one, which might be over actually in this. And if you hold that down there, it matches the size. So those are both of your screws that we're going to need for the actual assembly of both of the arms to attach to the rear damper. So, and then we'll also need another screw here for the attaching it to the engine once it's all done and painted. So we will grab another one of these, which is the same size as that one. So we have all of our screws ready. Now we're just going to go paint, and then we'll come back and we'll put it all together. All right, time to airbrush these 3 little pieces and get them done. So I'm going to load up the airbrush with some LP70. And I think I'm going to, since it's such a small piece, I'm going to go ahead and remove the color cup on the airbrush and just put a little bit, because it's not going to take a whole lot of paint to do this. So I'm just going to put a little bit of paint right in the chamber, and then test our spray, see where we're at. It's coming out, so we'll grab the first part, and we'll just get some LP70 on here, which is a gloss aluminum. Just doing a nice, easy coat. Cover both sides, even though you probably won't see the other side, but just to make sure I got all the coverage. And then you kind of see the difference between the unpainted part and the painted part. So I will shoot. You'll really be able to see it when you paint the black one. So just keep moving the part around. And that noise tells me I'm out of paint. So I will grab a little bit more, fill that up. All right, that part is done. Now the last part for this step is this little horseshoe looking thing. I'm just going to kind of use air. I shut off the needle for the paint. I'm just going to use air to kind of dry it. Now get me some more paint going. I think that's about it. All right, now we will set these aside, let them dry, and we will start assembling it. All right, back from the airbrush booth, and we have our parts painted, and we have the rear damper assembly here. So it is ready to be attached to piece D9 and D10, which are these two. So, and we need the long screw, which is right here, and the two short screws, which is right here for the upper part and the wishbone part. I know it's probably not called the wishbone part, but you can leave comments and tell me what it's really called. All right, so we're going to take the long screw and we're going to feed it through the bottom hole. Oh, I don't think we're going to feed it. We're actually going to have to screw that in. So we are going to get our screwdriver that Tamiya hands us. And we're going to start with gentle motion and just kind of let the screw thread through the plastic without torquing the plastic too much. And just gentle, slow screwing it in. And I believe this part will actually, once we get it in there a little bit, we'll just slide over that screw. Now, I'll look at photos of the actual of the actual bike to see if you can see these and if this is a frame color instead of black, and I'll paint that when I'm done. But this part does slide. I guess it doesn't. It screws on there too. So what I'm going to do is back that off a little bit. And I think what I'm going to do is take one of the other screws, since we have more than one, and I'm going to pre-thread this hole. Oh, no, I was trying to put it in the wrong hole. So let us keep going with that. All right, let's try that again. Unless that's just a different screw altogether. Okay, I'm confused. So I may end up pausing this. Well, I believe I used the wrong screw. I used a thicker screw. So I probably made a bigger hole than is needed. So we will try to see if it actually, because it's actually supposed to be a 1.2 by 4 millimeter and a 1.2 by 6 millimeter. So those are supposed to be the same width, but not length. So we will try this again. So, well, the good thing is if you're watching this, you're going to learn from my mistakes and not do that to yours. So now this piece will go right through, and I'm hoping I'm going to have enough torque to hold it once it's joined to the other side. This is kind of fiddly. And I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, or is it really supposed to be that fiddly? So that goes into that. And now we're going to take one of these smaller screws, which thankfully are magnetized. We're going to put it through that top hole until it reaches the other side. And then you're going to screw that real slowly until you feel it bite down. And then now we can go down and finish this piece. Pushing, you should feel it getting tighter and tighter. You know, once you get to where it's really tough to turn, you just want to kind of give it another half turn. And that is completely done. And now it says that we're going to attach that finished part here using that little wishbone piece here, and we're going to slide it into the engine post. So we're going to grab this little wishbone part, and I'm going to put it in that little hole right there, and then we're going to screw that again, just get the hole started. It just seems to be well, you know what? I'm going to do it like a, I see why. I see why now. If you look, this hole here is bigger than this hole here. So you want to use the bigger hole, because then that way the screw will go down inside that hole. So make sure you flip it over and use the bigger hole that the screw will just slide down through all the way to the other side. And then once you have it all lined up, then hold this with your thumb and just slowly turn so it goes into its hole. And it's lined up over on this side. See the smaller holes here now. And so you're just wanting that screw to go all the way through to the other side. If you can hold it and just get it started into the other side. So I'm just going to pinch it a little bit get it started. And keep turning until it gets snug, but not too snug. And then that part will flip up and down. So that is that completed part, and now it's ready to go into the engine, which according to the diagram, it's facing this way here. And this little part here is this little part here. So the upper part of this right here, you can see it, there's a hole here, and there's a hole here. So both of these little pegs, we'll drop that down. Both of these little pegs here and here will slide into those holes. And it doesn't say to glue, it just says press them into. That's just weird. It's kind of a weird little situation because it doesn't seem. I may pause this. Thin this out just a little bit because maybe I left some debris when cleaning the part up. And I'm not worried about the paint because that's going to be inside that hole, so you won't see it at all anyway. So I will try it again. It's almost like it's a snap, like there, boom, it snapped right in. And then that snaps up on top. And so it takes a little bit of finagling, but it looks the part. And that, my friends, is step 6 wrapped up. So I am going to get started on step 7, and I will see you again with step 7. Again, I really appreciate you guys liking and subscribing, and I love the comments. I try to answer them as fast as I can. So keep questions and comments coming, and we'll see you on the next video. Thank you so much.